some observations about my new Jeep Gladiator Mojave. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Rob Motive JT. In case you didn't know, I have a new Jeep Gladiator Mojave. Well, at least to me. This is a 2021, 1,900 miles, just turned today. And I actually traded my other one with my mother. That's the short backstory. But there's a few observations I've noticed, a few things lately since I've been driving around in the Jeep Gladiator Mojave. First of all, it's higher. I noticed that, of course, right away, and it is something that you notice. It's about, I think it's an inch and a half, whatever it is, higher than the stock Jeep Gladiator, the one that's not lifted at all. Of course, I'm running on the Fox shocks, you know, it's set up for the desert, for desert running. But you do notice that, particularly when I'm getting out, it's like I have to prepare myself because I'm going to drop further than I did before. I'm one of those seat scooters. You know, when you go to get out, you don't use the steps or any of that. You just kind of scoot out of the seat, slide off of the seat. Next up is the power. It seems to me to be slightly, and I'm being very picky, slightly less responsive than my Jeep Gladiator from before was. Now, there's probably a reason for that. I had the Sprint booster on my previous Jeep Gladiator. Now, Mom said she wanted it, so I left it on there. So now she's going to beat me in a drag race, I guess. But I do notice a difference between having it on the last one and not having anything on this one. Again, it's not a huge difference because the Jeep Gladiator has very little lag anyway. And this is all about lag. I'm talking about when you take off, what it feels like. But definitely something noticeable to me. And let me get something straight right away. I am very picky when it comes to vehicles. It's kind of like a curse. I seem to notice all of the little things, you know. And this next one is another thing that I've noticed. But I will say I'm not the only one. This Jeep Gladiator Mojave, and I think it's inherent to this one, I don't think it's across the brand, seems to run a little rough. Particularly when you're backing up. I don't know what that's about. And when you have the air conditioning on. You know, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the old cars that when you turn the air on, you could feel them suck the power right out of the motor. It's not quite that bad. It's nothing that extreme, but it puts me in mind of that because when I turn the air off, it seems to run a little bit smoother, like there's less drag on the engine, on the power, which of course there is. If you're not running that air conditioning compressor, then obviously there's going to be less draw, less drain on the power from the engine. It shouldn't be that way. And in talking to Mom about it, she had noticed a change in the truck about a month ago or so, that it seemed like it was idling a little bit rough. And I feel that myself. I'm hoping maybe it was just bad fuel, maybe something simple like that. Maybe there's a loose spark plug. Are there even spark plugs in this anymore? An injector problem? I don't know. It is under warranty, and that's why it doesn't worry me, because I will be able to take it in and have it looked at, which I will be doing fairly soon, just to see if they can come up with anything. And what I'm talking about, too, another way to relate it, I guess, is when I have the camera on, or the phone up on the holder that I have, and I'm sitting still, I can see the camera kind of, or the phone kind of moving around a little bit, you know, kind of like that. That's a rough idle. So another way to kind of see what it's like there. Of course, the ride quality is not as good. It has the MT tires, the mud terrains. I'm going to remedy that. There was a video that I put out previously. If you saw it, I do have new wheels and tires coming. So that should take care of any ride difference that I had between my previous Jeep Gladiator and this one. Not a big deal. Now, let's talk about the hood. We have to talk about the hood. First of all, it weighs like 1,000,000 pounds compared to the regular Jeep Gladiator because I believe it is a steel hood, whereas the regular Jeep Gladiator is aluminum, I believe. So it's a heavier hood. I have lifted it a few times because I do have some other mods coming that I needed to be under there. But I do notice that, but even more than that, I mean, that's not a big deal, is the raised hood. The Jeep Gladiator Mojave has the spoiler in the front, the little scoop, if you will, and it's raised. And that's probably why it's steel versus aluminum, I'm guessing. Or maybe it's just a thicker aluminum, I don't know. But it is raised, and it used to bother me. You know, the first time that I drove the Jeep Gladiator Mojave, and it was this one actually, when Mom got it, I didn't really dig the front of it, the way that you look out over that hump. Now, I discovered a fix for that for me, and this is pretty darn simple, and that is raise the seat up. Because if you raise the seat up, your view is going to change. You're going to be looking more over or down that hood than straight across it, and it does make a big difference. So let's see if, let's say if you bought a Jeep Gladiator Mojave and maybe that raised hood is driving you nuts, try something. Just raise your seat up a bit. Adjust the steering wheel so you get that angle you like, and I'm guessing you're probably going to find that it's not so bad. That's the way that it is for me. Another thing, the mods and stuff that I had on the other truck. This thing is quiet, relatively speaking. I mean, I know as we're driving around, you can probably hear the wind, maybe the tires smacking the road, those mud terrains. But it's quiet compared to the one that I had, because I had that air raid cold air intake on it, which makes more sound, more noise, a throatier growl when you're taking off and when you get on the gas. I love that. And you gotta know, there's one of those coming for this truck. It's on order right now. I can't wait to see how this thing sounds with that on it. It's gonna make the Mojave, I think, what it should be. More aggressive, meaner. It has a more aggressive look anyway. Mom keeps telling me that. She says that she now has, in what I had before, the old lady Gladiator. And I thought, wait a minute. You're telling me I was driving around an old lady Gladiator? That's what you thought? And that I now have the aggressive Gladiator. I don't know if I agree. I think with what I had done with the last one, it looked a little bit better than old lady. But I understand what she's saying. This one has a more aggressive look. It's lifted. It has those mud terrain tires, so when you're sitting still, you can see those aggressive tires. It has the hood scoop. It is Snazberry red, which is obviously a more aggressive look than what just white is. But that white Jeep Gladiator was pretty tough, I think, with its wheels and tires, the tires that stuck out, the growl that it had, the green accents that I put on it, which, by the way, are almost all gone now. I'm in the process of removing them all because she doesn't like the green either. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here and kind of run through a few observations that I've had after having the Jeep Gladiator Mojave for a little while, spending some seat time in it as my own. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If you've got a Jeep Gladiator Mojave, or maybe you've driven one, what do you think of it? I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. Rob Motive MT, all about mini trucks, currently the Hyundai Santa Cruz, and Rob Motive, all about Toyota Tacomas. Check them out and do me a favor. Please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.